Good evening and welcome to tomorrow's Talent Talks. This is the first of a new series during lockdown 3 where we're taking time to, every Sunday at 6 o'clock, we're going to be meeting former Tomorrow's Talent students who are working in the entertainment industry, and we're going to be asking them a little bit about their education, their training as performers, but also not necessarily all kind of performance related as well, trying to just to get to find out a little bit about them, what makes them tick, etc. And then we'll be asking them about their professional training, whether it was at drama school, dance college. Some of our really successful alums haven't actually done the conventional route of drama school training. So that's kind of an interesting angle in. Then we'll be talking about life at drama school, surviving drama school. Also, quite a lot of our students are auditioning for drama schools, or will be thinking about auditioning for drama schools in the next few years. So I think it's always quite nice to have a bit of an insight from someone who's walked the walk, put the applications in, been through the process of the drama school auditions or university auditions, etc. So we're going to be finding a bit more about that, life at drama school, and then also about how they find the industry. It's an industry that's clouded with so much kind of like sort of secrecy in a way, or like everyone has such different experiences of it. So we're going to be finding out how they're finding it. And also just, we're going to, obviously, we can't sort of, like the elephant in the room, avoid talking about what's going on at the moment and sort of what's happened in the last year. This is about positivity and giving people inspiration and, excitement for the future. It's not going to be all doom and gloom. It's a Sunday night and this is your time. So, so the first person that we have today, our first guest, is an actor, a young actor by the name of Dominic Short. I'm really excited to have Dominic join us this evening. He's our first guest, and throughout the week our followers have been posting questions for Dominic that we're going to be asking him when he joins us kind of shortly. So just a little bit about Dominic just before we start. Dominic is from Essex. Obviously, our theatre school is in Danbury in Essex. He studied at King Edward Grammar School. That's Kegs. It's in sort of Chelmsford Town Centre, and also trained with us at Tomorrow's Talent Theatre School. Dominic went on to train at the Guildford School of Acting, and was on the 3-year BA acting course. And whilst in his 3rd year, obviously Dominic will give us much more intel on all this, but whilst in his 3rd year he landed the leading role of Albus Potter in the West End production of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. And for any of you that haven't seen the play, it's in 2 parts. It is absolutely incredible. So we're going to ask Dominic a little bit about that sort of process of getting into the production, a little bit, as much as possible that we can ask about the actual production, because it's quite well known for the hashtag Keep the Secrets, where it's trying to encourage audiences to not sort of do spoilers, etc., because there's some quite big twists and plot turns and stuff throughout the piece. The production Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, it's currently playing in the West End. It's on Broadway. Well, I say currently, obviously it's on temporary pause. It's in Melbourne and in San Francisco, and there's other productions that are due to open around the world in hopefully the near future. The play's at the Palace Theatre, which is slap bang in the middle of the West End, and it won a record award-winning 9 Olivier Awards at the 2016-2017 awards. So let us, before we start, I'm just going to get a little picture of Dominic in the production, just so if any of you guys haven't met him, just so you sort of know who he is. So Dominic's in the bottom of the screen, obviously, and there's just some production images from Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, and it's just making me very excited to not only see this, because I haven't actually seen Dominic in the production yet, because getting tickets is quite difficult. I actually won the lottery, the Harry Potter lottery, to be able to get to see the production, but this was before Dominic was actually in the production. But not only excited to see this, but also excited to see theatre in general. Hopefully soon. So, let me see. So I'm going to invite Dominic to join us. Let's see. There we go. Just sending a little bit to join us in the screen. And we're going to start by asking Dominic 33 questions. Don't ask me why 33. But we're going to be asking him 33 questions.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah,
how are
good.
You? Yeah, I can hear you perfectly. Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you very well. Very well. Lovely. I was blushing. I was blushing when you were talking, Gavin.
This is so weird because I don't think I've seen anybody since something like the 18th or 19th of December.
You're right. Well, you're fortunate that it's my face that you get to see.
So lucky, so lucky. Dominic, before we start,
yes.
What I'm going to do like a little icebreaker. I'm sure you're used to icebreakers from being at drama school.
Mm-hmm.
Just to kind of just to get us into that getting to know each other stage. Obviously, we do know each other anyway, but just in the medium of Instagram Live, as it were. So, 33 questions. They're a bit random, and you can go into detail. You don't have to. You can keep it short and sweet. It's up to you. So, are you good to go?
I'm ready. Let me take a sip. While you're drinking, I'll take a little sip of water. Right now, I'm ready.
Brilliant. Okay, so question 1: where in the world are you at the moment?
I'm in North Essex, in a little bungalow.
Oh, I just lost you there, Dominic. Could you repeat that? Whereabouts are you in the world?
I'm in North Essex. No. You.
Back. Question 2: 3 words to describe yourself.
A little bit anxious.
Little bit anxious.
Here we are.
Question 3: how would others describe you?
Just that, I think.
Sorry, Dom, could you repeat that? Because the internet's just cutting out a little bit.
I'm sorry. That's probably me. I'm very rural. I'm very rural here, so that's probably why. I think people would say a bit nice to be around. I'd like them to say that. That'd be a nice thing to say.
That is quite nice. Who would you like to ask you 33? No, who would you like to ask 33 questions to?
Duke Ellington. I think he's a wonderful, or he was a wonderful musician, and I think it would be nice to just hear his inspirations, his muses.
No judgment on your choices here, by the way. What have you got a lockdown podcast, like go-to podcast?
I've got had a couple. Off the Menu, that was kind of the one that I listened to a lot. And the Grounded with Louis Theroux, that I found lovely listen to that. So he's nice.
To the Oliver Stone one this week was really good.
Yeah, I haven't listened to that one yet. No spoilers. But I think he's got such a lovely voice. He's kind of never seems sincere, and I like that in Yeah.
And the ruby wax one's quite interesting as well, actually.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have you had a go-to series that you've got into over lockdown?
Not over lockdown, but my go-to series is BoJack Horseman. That's my sort of if I'm feeling down, that's the one I can always return to and makes me feel good. But I think the one I've watched over lockdown, Cheer, that was pretty good. I was about 12 months late to Cheer.
Is that the one from last year with the
Yeah, I'm a bit behind.
Cheer squad?
Yeah, I'm a bit behind the times, but that was an easy one to binge.
I was obsessed with that. That was brilliant.
Yeah, just
crazy. What music have you been listening to? Any new music, or is it like kind of, do you go back to your old faves?
Yes, I've been listening to an artist called Benjamin Clementine a lot, which I think I sort of discovered him maybe not I discovered, but as in he was new to me a couple of months ago, and I've just been listening to him ever since.
Cornerstone.
Yeah. And I love. Oh, go on.
No, go on. Because we did a play, and the play for National Theatre Connections, and the playwright wanted this particular cornerstone at the end. I think he did, but obviously it was around. He won the Mercury. Did he win the Mercury? Won the Mercury Award, and it was such a brilliant piece of music. Yeah.
His voice is so transcendent, and the piano playing. I love his song "I Won't Complain" as well. See that one? And that makes hairs on the back of my neck go up. Yeah.
Lovely. Have you developed any new hobbies or skills over the last year?
Well, this last week, actually, not the last year, I've kind of been bumming around quite a lot, but this last week I've picked up my saxophone for the first time in about 10 years. Brilliant. So that's fun. That's a nice way to spend the time, which has been fun. And I mean, I'm not, it's been a while, but it's nice to do something with no expectation of being good.
Just for the enjoyment of doing it rather than 100%. I tie-dyed a jumper yesterday. It was so much fun. It's so nice just doing something sort of felt a bit creative, like you say, with no kind of like end goal in sight sort of thing.
Yeah. Did it come out well? Did it come out good?
I'm so pleased. I'm so pleased. I was going to wear it tonight, and then I thought, nah.
Come on. There's no judgment here. There's no judgment.
True. All right, question 9. You're hosting a dinner party. You can invite 3 people. Who would you invite?
Well, I think going back to my podcast, I get Louis Theroux in. I'd like James Acaster to come as well, and I think probably my mum as well. I think she'd be
a nice
good
mix. A nice mix of people. And what would you serve them for starter, main, and dessert, please?
I would go leek and potato soup. That would be my starter.
Nice.
I think I'd then go for a nice big vegan pizza for the main, and we'd all share the same one, I think. And then a nice, maybe sticky toffee pudding for dinner. Would it
have to be vegan, the sticky toffee pudding?
I would have to think that it's vegan.
Yeah, I totally understand that. I've done a year of no meat and fish.
Yeah.
But chocolate and cheese are quite difficult for me to not partake.
Yeah. I think I make my transgressions where I feel they're needed.
I hear you.
I've just realised that I've got my social media limit is about to go because I set up this social media thing to stop me going on social media, and it's about to tick off because I've spent 2.
While we're waiting for Dom to come back, let me see. Hello.
I'm so sorry about that, Gavin. I think hopefully that's it.
I think that's an amazing thing to do? Reduce your time that you can spend on social media?
Yeah,
As I talk to you on the medium of social media, sort of, it's quite contradictory.
Yeah, I think it has its uses, and I think sometimes you just need to. I think I found that I need to measure how much time I'm spending on it, because otherwise it's just a downward spiral, isn't it? And I think this is lovely, and the connection you can have with people is lovely. But then sometimes when you're not connecting with people and you're just endlessly watching how well other people are doing, it's not good.
I feel definitely turning the phone off is liberation. Amazing.
Yeah.
Right, let's jump. Let's go. Favourite holiday?
My favourite holiday would be a couple of years ago, I went to St Ives with my family and my girlfriend for New Year's Eve, which was lovely. Yeah, it's a lovely place to go, especially that time of the year. And the weather was lovely. Then New Year's Day, surfing on the beach. It was just chef's kiss.
That's sounding like Devon, Cornwall way, isn't it? Cornwall?
Yeah.
I've never been, actually. I'd love to go.
Recommend.
What's your favourite smell?
This is a bit of a weird one. But when my dog falls asleep, she lets off. She's all comfortable and happy. She lets off this kind of like this smell of comfort, whatever it is of hers. Maybe it's her sweat. I don't know. But it makes me go this. Because she's comfortable, and I'm usually sat next to her, and I'm comfortable. So that's embarrassing, but there we are. That's.
I was expecting like fresh grass or cut grass or something. The smell of your dog. But that's a good one.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite theatrical experience as an audience member? You can't really say one that you've been.
Yeah. I was my favourite. Yeah.
Exactly.
I think I saw. Just before we went into this COVID hit, I saw Uncle Vanya, and I think Toby Jones in Uncle Vanya was unbelievable.
Because that's been on TV last week, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Did you see it on TV?
I haven't watched it on TV yet, but I will.
No, I haven't watched it yet because I think it might be quite a lot, and I don't know if I can deal with that right now.
Yeah. I think it's a heavy play, but just to watch him, he flies all the way through. It's terrific.
Dominic,
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a favourite book or author?
Yes, it changes a lot. But I recently read a book called Silence by Shusaku Endo, and they made it actually. Martin Scorsese made it into a film. And it's about sort of these Portuguese missionaries, and they go in about 1600s, and they go to Japan, and it's sort of their experiences there, and it's really good read, and it's I'd recommend if anyone hasn't read it, but I enjoyed it. But obviously, your favourite book changes, isn't it? It's almost the last book I read.
Do you have a particular favourite author you could go back to?
No, I don't. No, not really. I sort of, if someone recommends me a book, I will usually pick that up. I don't really, like I read Girl, Woman, Other. You read that one? Bernardine Evaristo. Really good. That was another. That was the one before Silence, and that was my favourite then. And then Silence took over. So, but I just sort of whatever floats my boat really. I like going to bookshops and having a peruse and just yeah.
Do you have which actors inspire you?
I like Catherine Hunter. I find really inspiring. She was she played Mrs. Fig in Harry Potter. I think that's probably I think, and also Toby Jones as well. I find him. I love both. They both transform in such wonderful ways. Those two actors, and I think that's what I really like about them. And also they're both in Harry Potter, so just staying on brand.
Very, very good to hear. Do you have a favourite quote?
I like. There's a quote that Mrs. Fig says in or The Order of the Phoenix, and she says, Don't put away your wand, Harry. They might come back. And I think that's. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, but it's one I say quite a lot. So
I do like that. Next question. Do you have a hidden talent?
well, I would say my Arabella Fig impression is that's a pretty hidden talent. And you've seen it right there for free. You're welcome.
Legendary. We're at a party.
Yeah.
If only.
Someday soon.
Karaoke is karaoke starts.
Yeah.
What do you do with that concept?
I'm straight there. I'm straight. Well, I probably there's probably a queue. I imagine. Usually, karaoke at a party, there's a queue. I'd get in the queue. I'd wait my turn, but I'd be eager to start. You know.
Can we ask your song choice?
Well, I think what usually happens is once I'm on there, I'm usually at the mic for quite a long time. So I'll do duets. I'll do whatever's going. I don't discriminate. Even if I don't know the song, I'll give it a go. You know.
Would you freestyle MC as well, or not?
Probably not. I think that'd be too much for me. I think, yeah. I don't back myself for that, but yeah.
I don't know. I think it would be quite interesting to see you do some freestyle MCing. Actually.
Yeah. Well, one day maybe, and that'll be my next thing I practice. Maybe in the next couple of weeks.
Do you have a dream role as a performer?
Yes, I would at some point like to play John Proctor in The Crucible. If that could ever happen. What I've done is I've chosen a character who's a bit older than me, so I can hold that dream for quite a long time.
You can warm up to it.
Yeah. So maybe in 20 years.
I saw Ian Glenn from Game of Thrones play John Proctor for the Royal Shakespeare Company.
Yeah.
And with the audience, we couldn't really get up afterwards because it was like one of those where you're like, oh.
Wow.
It's legendary.
Yeah.
Do you have a favourite artist or piece of art?
Yes, I do actually. There's a painting of Ken Dodd at the National Portrait Gallery. I think it's by David Cobley, maybe. And it's a picture of him, and he's him backstage. He's sort of in the dressing room, looking in the mirror, and I think with his sort of comedic mask off, and it's lovely. Yeah, it's really. I go in there and I can't take my eyes off it. It's such a lovely, telling such a lovely story. I think. Yeah.
What is your favourite? This is a bit of a random question, but what is your favourite word in the English language?
I like the word twiglet. I think that's my favourite word. That's also the name of my dog, so I think maybe they might be connected.
This is not a place of judgment, as we've said earlier on.
Mm-hmm.
Could you describe to us your fitness regime?
I would say it's fairly persistent. It's actually got a lot better over having all this time. So I generally I'll do some sort of moving every day, whether it be a walk or a bit of yoga, or maybe like a HIIT workout, something like, or a run. That's what I've been doing. I don't think I ever was as regular and frequent with it before this, but now I've got all the time in the world to do it. So that, yeah. I mean, do you want any more detail? That's it.
And to sort of not contradict that, to complement it, should we say?
Yeah.
How do you chill?
Usually with a nice cup of coffee. I like, and the process of making a cup of coffee is nice. And then watching something like Bob's Burgers on Amazon Prime. That's my usual go-to.
This is question 24. What are, in your opinion, the best and the worst social media platforms?
I think they are all equally bad.
They're all evil.
Yeah, I think they all have their uses, as we said before. I think, but only when they're being used for those things. I think, I wouldn't say I have a favourite or a least favourite. They're all in that bottom tier.
What is your most treasured possession?
At the moment, it's my iPad, I think. Just because how it is. This is the thing that keeps me most connected with people, and I think that's at the moment. Absolutely. I think that will change. But
what is your earliest childhood memory?
I don't remember much about it, but I got when I must have been about 3, I think. I got pushed over the back of the garden fence, and fell into some leaves and mud, and that's all the memory is. But I remember it happened. It must have been traumatic at the time because it's still there. But
crazy, isn't it? What that sort of says about us. That's the first thing that you'd think of. Who's your favourite comedian?
James Acaster.
Who is? You mentioned him earlier. I don't know who he is actually. I have to admit.
He's got a thing on Netflix called Repertoire, which is a 4-hour special. He's a youngest comedian. He dresses quite goofily, usually with a big tie. And I think his humour's just very clever. I think. And he does this podcast called Off the Menu, where they do people come in and they pick their dream starter, main course, side dish, dessert, and it's one of those things, when you have a podcast and you're listening to it and you feel like you're there and you feel like you're friends, just laughing with your friends. That's what
love that. Oh, I'll have to look out for that. Kind of, we're going a bit desert island discs here. You've got one album and you can only listen to that album. That's the only album you're allowed to listen to for the rest of your life. Which album would it be? That's such a horrible question.
No, I got this one. Sweet Thunder by Duke Ellington. It's an album. It was for a Shakespeare festival, so it's all these big jazz numbers, but inspired by scenes from Shakespeare.
What was the name again? Can you repeat that?
Such Sweet Thunder.
I think I might be asking Alexa, maybe.
Yeah.
Have a little listen to that.
Yeah, you must.
What's your favourite? Do you have a favourite Harry Potter film?
Yes, Order of the Phoenix is my favourite.
Which one is that in the series?
Number 5. Number 5.
Okay.
I think because it came out just as I was really getting it, invested in it, I think, and then I was waiting for such a long time for the next one to come out, but I was watching the film again and again and again. So
okay. And do you have a favourite film?
Little Women.
Is that the recent one? Yeah.
Yeah.
I've not seen it.
Yeah, actually. I think so. It's very good. The only film I've seen twice in the cinema.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That says a lot.
Yeah.
Stage or screen?
Stage.
I hear you. I thought this was kind of maybe quite a useful question for some of our students who may be tuning in at the moment. Not just our students, but for everybody, really. What would you say to someone who felt that they were in a bit of a rut, whether it's like creatively or just in life, feeling a bit like, oh, I don't really know what I'm doing, or the world's a bit against me? What would be just words of advice or top tip?
Well, I think you're not on your own, right? Especially now. I think everyone's in that sort of state of, at some point, will have gone through it. And I think that's important. So I think it's important to reach out to other people. But also I think just doing something else. Like if it is a creative rut, just do something else that's fun, that you enjoy for enjoyment's sake, rather than with an end goal of being a maestro or whatever that is. I think, just go and have some fun.
That's nice. And finally, your 33rd question in our ice-breaking series is, It's just a little question. What would you like to be remembered for? Not deep at all.
I would like to be remembered for being kind. I think if that was how I was remembered, I felt like I'd done good. But
Yeah.
I don't know if that's going to happen. But you know,
Keep
it's like a dream, isn't it?
keep striving towards that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Dominic, for answering those 33 ice-breaking questions.
Yeah. Sorry about the little interval in the middle.
That's all right. Like at the moment, I think with everything, we just if things go wrong and technology and whatever, it just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
No.
So it's all good. Right, we're now going to go into kind of like the meat of our talk, as it were.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, if there's anything that you don't want to talk about, it's all good. It's all good. So just do stop me if I'm going into areas of no, I don't really want to talk about that. That's all okay.
Yeah.
Could we? I've had a few questions from people throughout the week, and I'm going to kind of I've kind of done this in 4 sections really, and I'll chuck in their questions as we're sort of going along. If we're not sort of answering them within the kind of general chat that we're going to have.
Yeah.
Firstly, Dom, I just want to kind of talk a little bit, find out a little bit about James Howard. Who is James Howard?
James Howard. He plays Draco Malfoy on London's West End.
Okay, because I keep seeing his name coming up in the comments. I think he's desperate to ask a question. So
he's being naughty.
James, fire us a question, and we'll ask Dominic a nice question.
Keep it PG.
I don't think we can invite James into the thing. I think we can only do 2 people.
I think he should stay out. He should stay out.
Yeah, Dom. I want to go back to back to your birth.
Let's go back.
No, it's kind of like really. This is about kind of the early life of Dominic, really. Just sort of about. Could you talk to us a little bit about you as a kid, your upbringing, family life, school? Obviously, share with as much of it as you wish to. And I have a question as well from Ravenclaw girl Sophia, who wants to know what first got you into acting. So we'll let's just start at the beginning, and we'll try and answer that question at some point within, and I'll remind you if we don't.
Well, I think the getting into acting is kind of at the beginning, because it's just pretending to be other people and playing as other people. I think that was something that I used to do a lot, whatever it was, with little Lego or dressing up or something like that. So I think that was always quite a big part of my my play as a young person, a child, and I think that sort of enjoying those of telling stories or reading stories or just engaging in stories in general, I think then it's kind of like a natural progression is to then, because there's very little chance to do that as you get older. It's a bit more frowned upon to be dressing up in your mid-20s. Unless you're getting paid for it, and I think, ta-da! I think I was quite shy as a child. I think I still am a little bit, but my first sort of drama I got involved with, my parents were because I was shy. They were like, well, we'll try and encourage him to be less shy. So they were like, we're going to take you to drama classes. And I was really enthusiastic because I thought they'd said drummer classes. I thought I was going to go and learn to be a drummer. Yeah. So they took me along, and I was furious because when I got there, we were playing Zip Zap Boing, and we weren't playing a snare. I don't know. And I sat in the corner, and then there was a bit of, after that, I didn't go again, and there was a bit of a brief period of not doing any drama, and then I did sort of school plays and things, Did a couple of sort of youth amateur dramatics. I think that's most people's access to it, isn't it? Doing, big shows and being the little orphan boy that pops up every now and then. And then
did you come from? Were your family? Have you got siblings? I can't remember if you've got.
Yes, I've got two brothers. Yeah.
Was anyone in your family kind of artistic or creative, or was it kind of a new thing as a family for you to sort of have this interest? Or
I think there is like creativity. But all my family are quite musical, with sort of instruments and things. But I think not with sort of acting or any of that part of the arts. I don't think. But I mean, it's not, but not to a point, like, because everyone enjoys films. Everyone enjoys watching films and stuff like that. So I think, we did watch films a lot. We watched television a lot. So
yeah.
and we went to the theatre a lot. I think, like pantomimes at Christmas, and usually on my birthday present would be we go and see a play, and my brothers would come along begrudgingly. But yeah.
And did you because you were the grammar school Kegs, weren't you? Were you there from year 7?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, and obviously that was quite because I've done a few kind of teaching workshops and stuff. I think maybe with yourself we did something quite a few years ago.
Yeah.
It's obviously quite I sort of felt high pressure for the students to kind of get very good results, very results driven, and sort of university was quite a important part of the process, I guess.
I think it felt like an accepted. It felt like that was the path to go.
Absolutely. Did you? I know, obviously, Mr. French, who was really passionate about the arts, etc. Did you do much drama stuff at secondary school?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Like I did drama GCSE and drama A level, and I did a couple of the productions there. A few more. I didn't. Yeah, I was generally in productions all the way through. And it was. Yeah, I had. So we did more in sort of when I got into sixth form, just because I was getting more involved with it outside of school as well. So it was.
Did you? What sort of age at secondary school did you start? Because I guess you start thinking about careers year 9, year 8 and 9, I guess, don't you? Have these careers evenings and stuff. Yeah. And I guess they generally don't really have actors there to a career.
No, I think it's less, I think because it's one of the, I don't want to get too political about it, but it's one of those things, isn't it? It's like the government sets a standard of what is an acceptable, viable job. And that filters down, and so you get it in the education system where it's the kind of the accepted thing is to go and do a degree that is going to lead on to a job that you're then in for 40 years, and that's kind of and acting and stuff doesn't fit into that because it's just not that. It's not that way inclined, and I think so I think I wasn't, and I think that then feeds onto you because I was doing sort of drama and stuff, but I never really thought it was a while before I was like, well, maybe I could do this. And that was because I was doing more outside of school sort of drama things and seeing people going off to drama school and having a good time. And I thought, well, if they can do it, if they think it's a viable career choice, then I could too. And I think that, that's the, I think so. I can't remember what the question was.
No, it's interesting. It sort of makes me think about. I know for myself, I was quite uncertain about whether to commit to the entertainment industry, etc. And the people always say about this having the backup, and I loved English literature and was thinking about. I got a place at Manchester to do English literature, and then I got a place at drama school, and I was like, probably drama school, really, because you don't. It's like quite a once in a lifetime opportunity, I guess. Did you have that university pull to go and do something, or were you quite focused on the drama school element?
I took a year out. It was a year between me leaving school and going to GSA, because that in year 13 I applied to all these drama schools, and that was kind of my focus, was that's what I wanted to do, and I didn't get any offers. I had a couple of recalls, and so I thought, well, because I had recalls, I thought, well, I'm obviously doing something right, but not doing enough, whatever that is. And so I went and did a part-time foundation course at Mountain View, which was sort of 3 evenings a week for a year. I think that helped me, because I was working at the same time. I was working at Asda. Can I say? No. Yeah, I was working at Asda, and that was kind of paying for the course. And I think that put me into a position when I was then applying of, well, I don't want to be working here for another year. So that year I applied to do English with creative writing at a couple of universities. And I think that gave me a nice, because I had the grades for those already. I kind of got the offers for those, and that kind of gave a nice padding for me, because I knew that I wasn't going to be working at Asda for anything.
Absolutely.
So, but I think it was always the goal. I was like, well, if I go to these universities and do English, then that's with a goal to maybe do like an MA at drama school, or I would still be pursuing the acting. So it was always a means to an end, I think.
Were you looking to? Did you look at musical theatre and acting, or was it predominantly just the acting courses that you were looking at?
But predominantly acting. But yeah, because that's I think that was more my skill set. I think. Yes. I think my dancing and my singing aren't quite as on the same level. So.
No. I've got quite a lovely question from somebody called Melis. I don't know who that could be. And he said, what could secondary schools? I think it's a really good question. What could secondary schools do to equip students wanting to go into the acting entertainment industry? Like, what could they do better? It's not a list, but it's just
Yeah, I think this is kind of what we were talking about. It is that from a government level, it's seen as a possible potential career choice, rather than, I think because it felt like when I was talking about it in sort of sixth form that this is what I wanted to do. It was like oh, and I think that response is I'm not like the person isn't sure because nobody else has done it. And I think that's the problem, is there's no precedent to it, so people aren't sure how to react. And there's always it's that sort of, oh, have you got a good backup? And I think, because you don't ask that about any other degree, or any other sort of post school thing. And I think that's the thing, is that you have I think that's what it is. Just people working in secondary schools need to be more aware that it could happen, and how to go through those processes, because I think pretty much all my knowledge of drama school applications, auditions and things like that came through at Tomorrow's Talent, and friends that I'd known that had applied. And I think
it's kind of like independent research as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think because if you haven't got those connections and that sort of network that I was fortunate to have, you're going in blind to these in a drama school audition situation, which can be quite intimidating. And I think if there'd been someone at school that I could go to and be like, oh, have you got any ideas about this? And they had experience with it before, then. But again, in my situation, I was fortunate that I didn't necessarily need that.
Yeah. Another question from Melis. Do you have a favourite role that you played pre going to drama school?
Yes, I played Robert Sideway in Our Country's Good that must have been year 13, I think.
Yeah.
And that was, I loved it. I had a great time.
Part.
Yeah. Had a really good time. But yeah, maybe, hopefully, I'll do that one again. I'd like to do that.
That'd be amazing.
Yeah.
We're just going to move. So we kind of talked a little bit about kind of young Dom. Obviously, he's still very young, but life in Essex and at school and stuff. Can you talk to us? Obviously, you went off to Guildford School of Acting to do the 3-year BA Honours acting course. Can you just tell us a bit about your time at GSA, and maybe like a bit typical day, or just things that you particularly enjoyed? What was GSA like?
It was great. I had a really good time. I think I came out of it with everything that I wanted from drama school, which was like a lot more experience. Working with people who were all with the same goal, and we had there's quite a lot of sort of screen work as well, which I think I found really useful, because it's that most people's access to drama to performing before drama school is through sort of a big musical, or a play or something. But so you get a lot of practice of that outside, but there's very few chances you get to practice on screen, and I think that was really helpful, and that's really what I wanted. I think it was we had a really good time. I think there wasn't really it's difficult to say sort of an average day. For us it was starting at 9 to about 5 or 6. Could be later if we're working on a show, and on a show, production, whatever it was. And so we started the first year is all sort of skills based. We're learning. We sort of work on text, on scene. We do a bit of movement. Work on voice. And then as the years progress, they sort of add more on, make it a bit more complex. So we'll do longer scenes, or like Shakespeare scenes. We did sort of some comedy modules, and then eventually in the end of the second year, we did a show, our first sort of small scale production, and then third year we get a lot of professional development classes, like preparing ourselves for the industry. We do two more productions with like a final project. Can't remember what the final. A short film project, that's what it was. I wasn't there, so I didn't do it. But actually, it's interesting because that whole course has they've done a big revamp, and so actually all that. I only left a couple of years ago, but all that course content has been changed and is new. And I think that's the great thing about drama schools, is they are constantly changing to fit
the demands of the industry.
Yeah, and I think that's because, especially now, we had a little bit of work on self-tapes, which has become so important now. But I think that will be a huge part of drama school training in the future.
We're trying to do it even with students at TT, because it's kind of I'm sort of torn, because there's nothing better than being in the room with people, but it just means you don't have to keep going into London for, say if it's a commercial as well, for a 5-minute, if you're lucky, meeting, and you've gone into London for all that all that time and money, and you can just do it from home. But it's nice getting a vibe, though, isn't it, of someone in a room? That's the thing.
Yeah, and it's just that working out where to pitch it, and because if you go in and you pitch it really wrong, all they have to say is, "Oh, you have to say something," and then you're like, "Oh right, I've got you, fine," and then you can do it again, and that's it. But then you can't do that on a self-tape, which is But this is the way, isn't it? This is the way of how it's going, and the only way that the industry can keep moving, I think, right now. Which is,
and I think it will. I think there'll be quite a few elements that are kept in the future as well. I think people are constantly learning and evolving, hopefully. So, Dom, can you tell us about your how you got the Harry Potter how your journey started with Harry Potter.
Yeah, so they were like obviously the cast of Harry Potter is like predominantly there's quite a big cohort of young people in it. So they approached quite a few of the drama schools looking for people that fit the brief, which is look young basically, so quite small. And yeah, so they actually, because I applied because they did an open audition that year as well, and I applied for the open audition but didn't get seen. Which, yeah. And then a couple of weeks later, then they applied, and my teacher came to me and was like, "Oh, do you want to apply for this? I'm going to enter you because you're fitting it." And I was like, "Oh, I hadn't heard about. Yeah, I'll take it." And yeah, so then there was about 5 rounds of there was a big movement call, which was quite a sweaty dance number because there's quite a few of those in the show. And then worked on sort of various scenes, and it was kind of the same configuration of as each audition went on. There was just there was just slightly more people in the room basically. So the first one, it was a movement call, and then a bit of script work, same again until the last one was just the script work, but in front of big scary people. And that was it took about it was 5 auditions, and it was probably from beginning of October to about November, December, and then the big wait.
And how long did you? Where were you when you found out that you'd got the role?
I was in Soho actually. We'd done a part of the course of GSA was in about December time. We do a small showcase in the theatre at Soho Theatre, where we just do it's kind of like a monologue slam, and it's kind of sort of preliminary. We can invite agents to that, so they see our faces, because I think Guildford's, because it's just outside London, we get a bit less traction with agents coming to see. So it's kind of these are our wares, and it was kind of in between. We just done the sort of the rehearsal for that, and then I got a phone call, and that was it. I was like, oh yeah, okay. And it wasn't like a specific. It wasn't the definite offer, but it was like, just so you know, this is a heads up. And I was like, oh okay. And then did the show, and then I after the thing, then I got a phone call saying this is it, and the email to accompany it. Yeah. Wow. Bonkers.
Did you have to keep? Were you able to discuss it with people, or was it a secrecy thing about it?
Well, yeah, it was kind of NDA'd, non-disclosure agreement up to the hilt. But I mean, I guess there are discretions you can make as to who you tell.
People start guessing things, don't they? After a while, and you're running around screaming a lot. Yeah,
exactly, right. And I think also, because I didn't want to lie. So people would say, "Oh, have you heard about?" Because I think I made it quite. I didn't want to be like shady about it, and so I'd be like, "This is where I'm going this afternoon," because we were rehearsing for shows at that time, and I'd be disappearing. So this is where I'm going. Good. Oh, cool. And then people were like, "Have you heard back from that?" And I didn't want to. I didn't. So I was like, "Oh no, not yet. No, I'm still waiting." And then we started showcase rehearsals, but halfway through that, rehearsals for Harry Potter started, so I didn't do that. So at that point, kind of everyone knew that the reason I wasn't in rehearsals was because I was doing something else. Wow. It was quite very fortunate, but it was
And up until obviously theatres closed back in March. How long had you been in the production before the closures of theatres?
So so we start rehearsals in March, and we opened in May. So whatever that is, about 9 months maybe.
9 months.
Yeah. Which is weird because it felt a lot longer than that, but it was. But yeah, because I suppose because I'd been working on the show for a year, but we'd only opened, so it's good fun.
And how, I have seen the production, but obviously it's in over 2 parts. I saw both parts in one day. As an actor, how do you cope with the different schedule? It's not, obviously some days you do part one, just part one, then the next day you do part two, then some days it's both in one day. How mentally do you deal with that?
Well, I think well, it's nice doing both parts in one day because you get this through arc, and by the time you get to the end, and it's that big emotional, you've been it all the day. I think it's been doing that for the whole day. I think it's harder to do it as we do on a Thursday and a Friday. We just do part one in the evening and part two in the evening on the next day, and that's quite tough because like you've been off all day doing housework and things like that, and then suddenly you come in, and especially on the Friday you come in, and like my character doesn't come in for quite a while at the beginning of part two, so I come in and we do the warm up and stuff, and then I get ready, get dressed, and then I sit in my dressing room for about 20 minutes, and then it's this strange. Yeah, constantly. I think you work out how to pitch it, how to get yourself to that point where you're both mentally and physically there and present. I think, this is all I know as my work goes. So I can't really compare it to a different sort of the more conventional like schedule. But because we get Monday and Tuesday off, it kind of balances out. You do get a proper weekend, whereas in some shows you don't. So yeah.
And Dominic, I'm going to have to start because I've got like a limit on the time that we can be on the live chat. So I'm going to have to start sort of bringing it to an end. I just want to say, I mean, I could talk to you about this. I feel like we've just sort of scratched the surface, really. But thank you so much for just talking to us. It's just a bit of nice relief just to kind of see another human and just interact a bit. And just good luck for future endeavours.
Thank you.
And whatever that may be, because obviously it's quite unknown at the moment what we're moving towards. But yeah, thank you so much for your time. I'm going to let you go. And
have a lovely Sunday.
You to have a lovely rest of your evening, and thank you so much for giving us your time and your lovely energy that you always have.
No worries. Thank you for having me on. See you later.
Bye, Dom. Thanks so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Hello. I've got like a whirly thing happening here. I don't know if that's so that was our Tomorrow's Talent Talks with Dominic Shaw. Hope you enjoyed it, and just sort of gave you a bit of an insight into who Dominic is and a bit about his background and how he's sort of got to where he is at the moment. So same time next week, Tomorrow's Talent Talks. We have a very special guest joining us next week. We have the actress Isabel Malloy, a former student of Tomorrow's Talent. Isabel was in the original cast of Matilda in the West End, and she went on to play the role of Matilda in the second year of the production, and has done numerous sort of television roles, and went on to play the young Maleficent in the Maleficent movie, the young Angelina Jolie role. So we're going to be talking to Isabel next Sunday at 6 o'clock. Have a great week. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll be posting this on YouTube and our other social media sites. You can watch it again and send Isabel questions throughout the week. Have a lovely evening. Bye.